The one thing which was very intriguing to me, right? So there's a lot of talk right now about, supply chain risk management. There's a focus in the government. We're talking about, that type of flow down. And one of the things that I noted that you guys talked about doing was to actually help monitor the supply chain. Is that just a matter, so the question I would have is that how much involvement do I need from my downstream supply chain vendors to do that? Do I need them to give me the blocks of IPs and things they own, or can I do that just through like a domain name and still end up with a pretty fair amount of information about what's going on in there? And then not only does that tie into your business intelligence stuff, but can I also leverage that from a reputational perspective as well?
Yes. So the short answer to your question is yes, in that preferred order that you've just listed, actually. Ideally, you knowing as much about them as possible is great, but it's not necessary. Like I said, that's what we do. So we sit down and help the people identify those things. We actually have two different supply chain components. One is Orbit, where you can have kind of a daily, if you will, approach to helping people manage their network. So if they're downstream from you, they tell you, hey, these are our IPs, these are our networks, and you just can continuously be part of their posture. Or we also have our Pure Signal Recon product, which is slightly different, but allows you to do like ad hoc views, so you don't have to license continuous monitoring of your supply chain, right? You can just license Recon and use it to look at your supply chain as needed, as opposed to getting continuous reports. Because some people's supply chains. I mean, imagine the supply chain of, say, I don't know, Kmart. Imagine Kmart's supply chain. There's got to be a million suppliers to them. Something like that. So it wouldn't be realistic to do some type of ASM monitoring for a supply chain that big, but we certainly could use Recon, our other tool, to do ad hoc checks of something like that. But yeah, ideally, a partner can tell us something about their supply chain, but if they can't, we sit down and work through it with them. That's like I said, it's probably one of our bigger differentiators that we identified, was how people get started with understanding how attack surface management works. A lot of people just get handed the keys and get told, type in your information and go. Well, I mean, you could have done that with just Nessus. I mean, you don't. Why would you have all these other tools? When you could have just done that yourself with something open source and very inexpensive. But it's not the way. It's not the most thorough way to do it. So what we do, like I said, is we sit down with a human being, a human analyst, who tries to draw some of these conclusions. We have a bunch of automations that feed that process, but the end process is determined by a human being. Says, yeah, this is us, or no, this isn't us.